Thank you so much for visiting Leezah's Lair. I'm glad you clicked on this video. I want to wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day, or if you refer to it as Love's Day, that's fine. Happy Valentine's Day, happy Love's Day. For those who are celebrating, I know everyone doesn't celebrate this day. They feel it's just a commercial hallmark holiday or whatever. But if you are celebrating it, I hope that you have a lot of great memories from today. Someone made a comment to me about the Love in Second Life video series and remarked that a lot of the couples are older couples who appear to be in their 40s, 50s, or even 60s, and that they were surprised that there were so many older people in Second Life number one, and that a lot of those who are in these long-term relationships that end up being successful away from this virtual space are older adults. And I thought that's an interesting observation. I wanted to get your feedback on it, so comment below. I think it's a great topic for this channel because we do discuss issues in Second Life. This is mainly a topical YouTube channel. There are a few videos about events, maybe 10 or 12 out of 100, but largely this is a channel where you come and you'll see different topics being discussed. So that means you can click on any video, even if it's from a few years ago, and you can put your input into the conversation. Here's my take on why I think that a lot of those videos are featuring the older adults. I really believe that a lot of times many younger people are still in that experimental phase of their lives where they're trying to kind of figure out who they are, what their needs really are, short term and long term. They're trying to define what are their emotional needs, what are their social needs, what are their relationship needs, short term, long term, how do they envision themselves as a relationship partner in the short term, in the long term, and all of those questions can be answered over time through experience, through the journey of different relationships. I also believe that in many cases, failed relationships can be very important in learning, what your absolutes are in a relationship and what you can actually deliver, and if your expectations of your partner are realistic in terms of what you're bringing to the relationship. And then also I think that with age, with emotional maturity, with progression in your life journey, I think that you also understand the difference between your desire for what you want someone to be in a relationship and your knowledge of what their capacity actually is, because each of us has a different capacity to love. We do not have the same identical capacity to love. And so I think as people progress in age, in maturity, in their life journey, they have an understanding of how to really analyze their own capacity to love, and then also to analyze another person's capacity to love. And I think that that only comes with life experience. And so I think that a lot of these relationships that you're seeing in the Love in Second Life series with older adults or people who have had successful relationships are people that have figured it out. They have figured out what it is that truly makes them happy, what they can truly contribute to someone else's life, what their expectations are, how they want to have them met, and how to construct a consolidated vision for the relationship so that one person's view of the relationship or one person's expectations of a relationship are not the drivers of the relationship. And I think that you're seeing that in the series, and that there are a lot more older adults in Second Life than I think that may exist in another social media platform that's a virtual universe such as IMVU or places like that. I think that there definitely probably is a higher population of older adults in the Second Life world versus some of those other worlds that seem to attract teenagers and 20 somethings mainly. I could be wrong about that, so comment below if you have some statistics on some of the other virtual worlds. I do have a video on this channel, by the way, and it's called The Top Virtual Worlds. And I got that just from an article that I saw on a publication called LifeWire. So if you're interested in that video, I'll link to it. And it names all the different virtual spaces. Here's my other observation. I think that as people get older and as they advance in their life journey, they have more examples, hopefully, of healthy relationships, of successful relationships. They have a broader perspective to draw on. Maybe they have met more married people in their life journey than maybe somebody who is older, or maybe they have met more married people who have a long-term marriage than maybe a lot of younger people. Particularly in the USA, it is rare now to find a lot of people who are, I'd say, 25 years old and younger, who had married parents their entire childhood, their entire adolescence, successfully married parents. And maybe people will say in the older generation that was rare as well. It's just that people stayed married, whereas, over time, divorce became more of a socially acceptable and societally acceptable option. And maybe that's also true as well. I definitely don't think that longevity in a marriage in and of itself means that it was a successful marriage. So I totally understand that viewpoint out there. But what I'm saying is that I think a lot of times many older adults have had the opportunity to encounter many people who have had long-term relationships that have been successful and long-term marriages. And of course, I'm not saying all, I'm not using the term everybody or all, but I'm saying that I'm using the word many because I do feel that it is true. I personally have never been somebody who has been interested in online dating. I've never done that. So there is no reason for me to start doing it if I'm in a virtual world when I wasn't even ever doing it, outside of a virtual world. But I know a lot of people have gotten married and things like that, meeting somebody either on Facebook or on Tinder and all these other dating sites. I don't even know all the names of them. I think anyway, as you can tell, I don't really know the names of these sites because I just don't know anybody who's using them. One point that I want to make is that I do realize that some people are hearing, and that's why they find it satisfying to be in virtual space relationships that are primarily driven by the visual and by just hearing the other person's voice, interacting through the imagery of your avatars, and that type of thing. However, we have other senses, and so I prefer to utilize all of my senses, in sharing with another person. I'd rather be in an actual restaurant, smelling the food and all of that, touching the food. I'd rather do all of that instead of watching, the cartoon version of the restaurant. But that's just me. Like I said, some people are very stimulated and feel it very fulfilling if they're just using two primary senses. That's what makes us all different in individuals. Comment below on this topic. Have you found that it seems to be mainly the older adults in Second Life who are having these longer term successful relationships after meeting another avatar, another person in this virtual space? Or is it just that, sometimes the series and these documentaries that are about Second Life just happen to feature the 40 something adults or things like that, or middle-aged adults rather? Comment below. Do you feel that there is a pattern? Are older adults having more successful relationships when they do meet someone in a virtual space? Let me know what your thoughts are. Have a wonderful Valentine's Day, as I said, if you celebrate it. Happy Love's Day, if you call it that. And tomorrow is Single Awareness Day. So I hope that those of you who acknowledge and celebrate Single Awareness Day will enjoy that. Thanks again for visiting Leezah's Lair. Don't forget the news discussion on Sunday afternoons. And TED Talks video discussions happen on Saturdays. Come back again and watch more videos and comment on any of the older videos if you find any of those topics interesting.